Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Cambria Style virtual design event. We're diving into one of my favorite topics, how to create design moments that truly wow. We are so glad you're here today, ready to be inspired by this great conversation with three exceptional industry experts, where we're going to learn how they turn spaces into statements. We'll get into intros in just a minute. But first, a few housekeeping items. If you want to rewatch or share this webinar, you'll be able to find the recording later on our website at cambriausa.com/style, as well as Cambria's YouTube channel, where it'll be posted soon after today's presentation. Also, we always want these events to be interactive, so watch for opportunities to join in the design conversation by answering a few poll questions. They're going to pop up periodically on your screen during the event. And our teams are ready to answer your questions. So feel free to type any question you have along the way in that Zoom Q&A box, and you can even ask me questions. I will answer them. Let me introduce our guests that are here today. Now, if we haven't met, I'm Summer Kath, head of design here at Cambria, and I've been with Cambria for more than 23 years, and my team is the creative force behind all new Cambria Quartz designs. And joining me today, all featured in the fall issue of Cambria Style, starting with Brad Ramsey. Hi, Brad, welcome.
Hey there. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So Brad
Yeah.
is he's the founder of Brad Ramsey Interiors. He's based in Nashville, which we love. His team has built and reimagined homes and commercial spaces around the country. And their outstanding work has earned the firm recognition in House Beautiful's 2024 Next Wave class. And next we have Lauren Collander. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, thrilled to be here. Thanks for having us.
Amazing. So heads up, Lauren Collender Interiors is a Chicagoland area with mission to show families what incredible design can do for them in their home. Her firm made it into Inc.'s top 500 list in 2021 and was among 30 design firms invited to transform a Lake Forest show house earlier this year. And last, we have Susan Semmelmann. Welcome,
Hello.
Susan.
Hi. So honored to be on this panel.
Terrific. So she leads her Fort Worth-based couture interior design firm, Semmelmann Interiors. Now, with over 10 ASID design awards, clap, clap, Susan is known for her signature organic glamour style. I love that, which blends natural elegance with luxury to create ethereal statement-making spaces. Welcome, panelists. We're so excited to have you here with us to explore how to design moments that wow. Those spaces that stop you in your tracks and linger in your memory, because it's clear from your work that you understand what makes a design moment. So here we go. So let's start with you, Susan. This space is from your
Wow.
Gilded Glow project, featured in Cambria Style. The room is beautifully layered with an intentional selection of materials, finishes, and surfaces, of course. I love that it's both grand and inviting. And that Cambria Southport fireplace, it's definitely a wow moment. So, Susan, tell us about this project.
Yes, it was just such a delight to be able to do this. This family, they live in this home, very, very old world home, and it was very dated. And they wanted to bring us in and give it a full lift, but they wanted it to be more than just a remodel. They wanted it to be something that was very inviting, that when they walked into the rooms every day, that they felt that it was fresh and light. And so right here, what we're looking at is the first room off the entry. It's the first room you see. And we were very intentional about the design. As you can see, that large window is double height, very tall ceiling. And the lighting in that room was exceptional, which, as we know as designers, you don't always get that opportunity to design in a room that naturally has this incredible light. And so we wanted to capture that coming in the window. And that is why we chose Cambria, because it was book matched. just perfectly because the colors in the vein of the Southport, it's not a gray. And they wanted not having grays, they wanted to implement golds and creams and champagnes, but it's a very muted mink color. And it just has a real special, unique ness to the color that just made that flanking that butterfly slab with the gold metal and overlay on the outside just be breathtaking.
Yeah, the mixing of materials is so beautiful. But here we have, you shared with us the before. And so you can really see the transformation here. And Susan, when you first walked into this space, what felt the most dated or challenging to you?
All of it. Um, it's hard not to get past the furniture sometimes. So then we got to dive in a little deeper and start peeling back layers. But that fireplace, a very traditional fireplace, and although aesthetically and structurally, pleasing that went with the home at the time that it was built, it was an opportunity. That's what we want to always look at, is where can we capture the opportunity to really make the impact. And by taking that fireplace all the way up to the very top of the ceiling and widen it, we did keep the original firebox, but as you can see on that attention to detail where the firebox was, it's why we flanked the inlay of the metal on each side was to elongate it. And so we were very intentional about giving it a more current size, and especially to the scale of the room, while not changing out the original firebox.
So we're seeing a lot of clients who want timeless but fresh and current. And I would love to open this up to everyone, is how do you strike that balance? Because I feel like you've made this a lot more fresh and current, but it still feels timeless.
Yeah, so right there was just that true elegance of not wanting it to be dated. And so we were able to take the authentic structure with the new current vibe, but definitely panel jump in and let's.
Yeah, we do a lot of this because it's always I think another word is it's like for timeless is that you want to invest once and you want it to be fabulous for a really long time, right? So with a lot of our clients, we're talking about these big moments like Susan's fireplace. Like this is going to be there for the next 15 plus years, so it has to be perfect and incredible and special, but also timeless at the same time. So a lot of times we are taking those pieces that are never going to change for a really long time, and making sure that those are the timeless elements, and then having a lot more fun with things, even like this cool brass inlay or like those gorgeous chandeliers. The gorgeous chandeliers, are easier to change in the far future when they might need to. So we tend to have a lot of fun with the easier to transform items.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the same thing. We really focus on those permanent, attached to the house, things that are going to take construction to have to change them and make sure that we're making timeless decisions. I mean, we're always going to tire of certain design decisions that we make along the way. But I think that some of those permanent ones, like this fireplace, are things that are going to strike you forever. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. I was wondering, how many slabs did it take? Is it four or is it more than that?
I don't know the answer to that. We could
Okay.
definitely get that answer,
It's
but it did require
it's
quite a few.
yeah, yeah. But I love that because that is this gorgeous focal point that you'll be able to redesign the furniture around, change window coverings, like Lauren said, change out the light fixtures, and it's a whole fresh new space again. So it's really important to put your money, into those types of items.
Do you guys think, and talking about fireplaces, I know we're going to transition to the next one,
Oh,
but
I love that.
yes, another amazing Inverness Everly Cambria, and also utilizing our 1 centimeter. Do you guys feel like that's a benefit that we offer the 1 cm slabs for these wall cladding situations?
Absolutely. It's opened up an entire world for us of opportunity where it's easier to install, right? It's less product. It's just incredible thing that, we can't really do with natural stone, quite honestly, because it's too fragile. And so for Cambria to be able to offer that, it's opened up a world of furniture design, wall cladding, like cladding in showers. Okay. It's really exciting for
Yeah.
us. A lot of primary bedroom or a lot of primary bathrooms we're doing this like monumental wall in a shower. There's no grout. It's gorgeous. It's like a piece of art on the wall. And so yes, so thank you for doing 1 centimeter.
Yeah. I
Maintenance
mean,
free.
I also feel like it's caught up with, your porcelain products, because we've had large slab porcelain for a while. But there's a difference in the way that it feels and it looks. The quartz product has that depth and the coldness that makes it feel like, real stone. And so for a long time, we were able to use it on horizontal surfaces, but then you'd have to go with a porcelain product for larger slabs for walls. So I love now that you can flow from counter to wall and keep it all seamless. So to me, it's a huge benefit.
I love that. And I'm going to say it is real stone because it's 93%
Yeah,
pure natural quartz,
yeah,
Brad.
absolutely.
That's amazing. And Susan, let's also talk about another room in the house, which has this amazing wow ceiling and all the detail. Talk us through this and how did you come up with this beauty?
So part of that was definitely the original structure that she was wanting to be a little bit more transitional and modernized, but it was an opportunity of saying it is okay to keep the original bones. So those beams were the original bones. Obviously, putting the gorgeous inlaid tile in that ceiling was the pop of the room and implementing the color. And it's really funny with the client because she was like, I don't know if I don't know how I feel about this. And we were like, I promise you, it is art. And so any opportunity that we have to create art in the room with any type of surfaces, whether it be Cambria or tiles or wallpapers, a lot of times, we always look at those opportunities to say, let's get the texturizing in, the deep elements that give it that movement and truly make you feel something when you see the space.
I love it. And for Lauren and or Brad, what unique materials or treatments have you guys experimented with that have surprised you or truly paid off?
Well, I've never asked a tile person to install on a ceiling. I'm so impressed by this. Um, it's certainly a lot of wallpaper. I'm so glad that wallpaper has come back in. Um, because the texture, the color, the pattern, you can go in so many different directions with that to add some kind of accent element. Easy to change out over time as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of our main go-tos.
So I have the same answer, right? Wallpaper is incredible.
Yep.
There's a whole world of materials that are now available in wallpaper, and I love the subtlety of sort of this like background story of the design. We just finished
Mhm.
a wine room, and for the wallpaper, we could have chosen anything in the world, but we chose a cork wallpaper, and it's like
Mm,
thinly sliced sheets of
Love
cork.
that.
And cork has naturally, little holes in it. So what this manufacturer did was they put a metallic background plus the cork over it, and in all those negative spaces you see the metallic, and it's just really fun. And then it
yeah.
makes my heart happy because it's a cool sort of design story. It's like from your soul, but it also reminds me of Susan's fireplace with those vertical metal channels
Mm,
because we're seeing metal used anywhere and everywhere humanly possible. Okay, that's something that's here to stay for a long time.
including your Cambria alloys, which we'll get
That's
to.
right.
And mixing metals, right? We love, are you guys mixing metals like crazy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that clients are buying into that so that we can layer a home with, I mean, whether we're in nickels or brass tones or bronze tones,
Mhm.
they're all so beautiful. And they're even more beautiful when you set them off in the right way, where maybe light fixtures are a complement to plumbing fixtures rather than a match match.
Mhm.
So definitely doing a lot of that.
I was thinking about all of your alloys, and I think I got inspired this morning. Can you see my necklace? It's half gold, half silver.
I
Nice.
love it. I love it.
And I'm slowly making the shift from 100% gold to 50% gold, 50% silver. So I'm
Ah,
silver is going to become
Hey,
the new.
that's funny because my watch band is also silver and gold.
Oh,
hey,
there.
mine too.
I
I'm
I
same.
never want to be roped into one or the other.
Exactly.
I agree. Bring in some copper, a little black, and now the
Yeah.
gold's all there
Yeah.
in one spot.
Oh my God. You heard it here. No rules with the alloys and the metals. Mix them up. It's amazing. All right. Well, we're going to move on to Brad's project
Wow.
in Kiwi Lake, which is in South Carolina. For those that have never heard of it, I hadn't. Um, this beautiful home, kitchen, and living room is featured in Cambria's fall issue of Cambria Style, and it certainly is a masterclass in how a wow moment isn't always the most dramatic. It can also be intimate. And
Yeah.
I love that the lake and the trees are like living art. So tell us about the home. I know you've got a lot to say here.
Yeah. Well, it is a vacation home for a client that I've worked with for a long time. And so it was a fun project. They basically said, do what you do. We know we'll love it. I had them in for just like 2 short design meetings where I showed them the house and they were like, looks awesome. And that does not come along very often. So we're very grateful for those clients when they do. But yeah, this space is so much about natural materials and the view out to nature. That really what I wanted to do in the decisions that we make was complement that and not try and compete with it. And so like our choice to use the Inverness frost on the countertops is this like subtle, beautiful veining that has texture in it. It's a matte material and it just brought in a little rawness. You know, we have these ceilings with exposed wood. We have beams and rafters and the whole exterior of the home is wood and we brought that inside. And so I wanted to stay in that natural element. And though the architecture is modern, so you know, you see the choices in the cabinetry and the way that we detailed out the kitchen space, keeping it sleek and simple. I wanted to find those opportunities to layer texture. And so you know, that kind of ruled every decision that we made, from the stone fireplace to the soft materials that we did in the living room. Everything was about neutral texture, feelings of comfort, feelings of outside coming inside. Um, and so that was kind of the baseline of where we started the design from.
Yeah, and using the Inverness frost, I think, was a perfect choice because it is very neutral, but it also has that debossed textural vein that adds just a
Yeah,
little bit. And I feel like that, I mean, that is, you nailed it. That's what this theme is all about. And here we can see this video of, you know, under construction. And I think you were talking
yeah.
about you did this so that you had documentation because you didn't get to go to the home very often while under construction.
Yeah. I mean, you know, when we build here in Nashville, I'm popping by the job site all the time. There's nothing that communicates the soul of a home more than being in it. And sometimes you make decisions on paper that once you're in the space, you realize, okay, I have to shift. I need to pivot because the house is telling me something else.
Mhm.
And so I really only made it out to the job site twice. And so, you know, photos are great, but I wanted to document it, by filming it so that I could go back and kind of relive the experience of the space so that I was making sure that the decisions that we made, like bringing all that wood in the kitchen ceiling down, um, were were right decisions for the house. And so you know that was what that video is about. But yeah, we really played with scale here because
Mhm.
the actual footprint of the kitchen, you can actually see it better when you see the dining table and you're looking back into the kitchen, straight on. The footprint is pretty small. We have no upper cabinetry. We don't have anything that's weighing down the space. It's a lot of lower cabinetry. And yet we have this volume. We have those 2 windows that just pop way up into the ceiling. And I was concerned that we were going to have a big white box with just a little bit of wood way down at those lowers. And so, I worked hand in hand with the architect and I drew this up and I sent it over to them. And it was actually the thing that I was the most unsure about because it's a
Mm.
really big decision. And I kind of did a rendering on top of their plans and sent it over. And I said, how do you feel about this? And they were like, we're all in. Um, so looking at it now, I'm so glad we did it. It just warms up the space and it actually allows your eye to take a breath kind of where the white stops. So it doesn't feel like it just keeps going forever. And it brings a little bit more intimacy into the kitchen space. And to me, it also allows the main living room to then soar because it's vaulted, it has the beams. And even though the kitchen feels like a showstopper, it really is the living room ceiling and that open space and the view out those big windows that steal the show.
There's a lot of wow going on here, but I feel that they don't compete. And I would love, Lauren and Susan, your reaction to the space and everything that Brad is trying to accomplish here.
I agree. I mean, Brad, outstanding, first of all. What I
Thank
really
you.
love is just the boldness in your creativity. It's out of the box, and you push the boundary on just the wrapping of the window and how that finishes out. Like you had to think and process how that was actually going to wrap and where that dividing stopping point was. And so when I saw this for the first time, I had a wow moment because
Mm,
the warmth that comes down from the ceiling, to your point, as you were saying before, but your eye, it doesn't have a stopping point. It's
Mhm.
inclusive of all of the room versus just to your, in Texas, we do all these big homes, these high ceilings, and you're right, these white boxes. And at some point, it just becomes repetitive to see that. And so I just really value your creativeness in this, that you brought
thank
something
you.
unique and different, but the element of the wood and the layering of the color of the stain, I'd love to know more about that as well. But it just, it's just exceptional in how it lays on the down, to your point, the line, but then where the eye looks up. Like I'm more focused on the ceiling, to be honest with you, because I'm just so fascinated.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Um, and don't get me wrong, I love a big white high ceiling that just breathes and is airy. Obviously this one wanted to be warm and rich and cozy and they sent over the architecture and I'm like, it's got massive ceilings and it's all white. How
Mm.
do I make that cozy? So yeah, that was kind of the challenge to try and figure that out.
Brad, I love
So
you
people,
sharing.
oh,
Oh,
sorry, I want you to go and then I have
no,
a
you're fine. I
question.
love you sharing that the ceiling was like a risk that you took that made you a little bit nervous, because I think that that's important that people know that a lot of times the right answer, what turns out to be the greatest moment, are the spaces that you question for a minute and then you push yourself
Mm.
through it and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy we did this. It's different, it's unique,
Yeah.
and it's special. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like for me, you guys probably feel this way as well when you make a decision like that on an actual permanent space. Uh, like we're not going to be taking that down out of the ceiling. That was the big risk there. That was the thing that I was most concerned about, was just knowing that that came across and worked with the rest of the architecture and kind of felt seamless with everything. And yes, it's a good point to say that designers, we know sometimes we're making risks and we're just hoping
Mhm.
that they work out. I mean, I have a design gut that I design from, but sometimes it's like, well, we're going to take this chance. It feels like it's the right decision.
Brad, you're so dead on. I don't design spaces, but designing countertops. And when we decided to put alloys in our countertops, that was a risk. And it was a fun one because it worked out for us. And thank you guys for all the things you say. But I Totally subscribe to the risk taking. And let's keep going in this house because here we get a sneak peek into the primary bedroom and ensuite in the same home. And it's just so beautiful. It's like a subtle wow that's really, again, playing off the nature and everything outside. So talk us through, what was your vision here? Did you take any risks here?
I think sometimes subtlety can be a risk because you don't want a space to feel boring.
Hmm.
And so sometimes a space that is like designed with a lot of layers of subtlety, when it's done right, and when it just feels like it's washed out and just doesn't have the effect that you were going for. And so we kept the palette very minimal. You see charcoal tones, you see some warm gray tones, some natural linen tones, and then we pick up that little tone of the oak that was kind of the nod to the trees outside, to the house being set in a woodsy environment, and just really tried to be intentional with texture. Again, we have subtlety that we chose on the countertops, but I wanted to have that texture, the beautiful veining that's in the Beckington. It's
Hmm.
subtle, it feels so graceful, and so that was kind of part of it. And then if you go back and you look at the living room and then you look at this space, I also chose some very architectural lighting. And I could have gone very soft. But to me, these black windows, the strong kind of masculine architecture that the house carries itself, needed some moments of some blackened steel, some harsher materials in the light fixtures that balance out our soft linen and floral pillows. Like, to me, there's this push and there's this pull that has to happen between masculine feminine energy for a space to just really feel like it sits right for multiple people. And so that was kind of like how I approached these spaces.
And I love how the tub is kind of tucked in its little niche. So it feels, again, back to your coziness. Love to hear from our other panel members your thoughts in this bathroom. Primary en suites are obviously becoming huge investments, but the detail is so important. What are your guys' thoughts?
One of the things I love about this one in particular is he didn't have to cover the window because the view is so spectacular, assuming no one's right outside.
Right, yeah.
No. But truly just framing the window with the very lightweight drapery, it gives it that spa feeling. And we're seeing more and more of that where showers have really taken the lead. And so people
Mhm.
are, really weighing more into showers. We're doing a lot of homes now that don't even have the tubs, but those that are still wanting that elegance and that sophistication, especially in this home being a vacation home. If it were me, I mean, I want to go. This home, it's like that view is incredible. Obviously,
I
it's
know I want to sit in that tub with that view.
same, same. And so, anyway, but we are doing more of that spa feeling because people, it's a stress relief, and they want to be able to. They're working all day or their activities, and in their home and in their environment. I think they want to recreate what it feels like to have that treatment and go to a spa, and why not do it right there in their own home?
Yeah, that's one of the things that too I love about the Cambria selections is that we saw Susan's unbelievable wow moment on the fireplace, and the same line, the same brand gives me these subtle, beautiful spa-like feels. And so, it runs the gamut. I can make a choice based off of the desired outcome, and it's within your line. Like, we're constantly pulling out our little sample bins and just going through them. Sometimes it's where the inspiration starts from.
Mm.
Sometimes we can go right to that countertop and then start layering behind it rather than letting it be the afterthought that tries to match everything else that you've, decided to do in the space. Especially some of those wow ones, like the alloy ones. And if I start there, then it's like my creative energy just explodes from that point because we can just start layering from the countertop backwards.
Brad, I love that. That makes my heart feel so great. I know we want to move on because we have some more bath moments that, oh, this wallpaper is incredible. I know this is right outside the pool area. So talk a little
Yeah.
bit about the beauty, wow, and function here.
Yeah. So we have a powder room. Um, Wanted to do something a little whimsical and fun. This lake is really set in the hills, and so the house almost lives a little bit more like a mountain home, with all the trees and the rolling hills down to the water. And so there's something that I loved about these cranes for the bathroom because, you see them out on the water, but they're kind of in a texture that looks like they've been cut out of wood. So they
Mm.
have this woodsy feeling to them. And so we wanted to make one choice in the house that was kind of a little bit more whimsical and less spa-like. And so we chose the small powder room. But I feel like the palette still works with everything else that we did. Um, and the other bathroom there is the lake access bath. So that's really where you come in from the boat. There's a place to just offload your coolers and all of your things. There's a locker room area off of that and a shower. So if you want to come in, rinse off from the lake, then run and jump in the pool, that is all accessible right there. And actually, adjacent to it is also a home gym. So they really have
Mm.
everything that they need to go and spa out, work out, spend time on the lake. Um, whatever they want, but in this space, like, I absolutely fell in love with the Windrush. It
Mhm.
has this like subtle gray and then these little peaks of white veining in it. And so our like slate tile on the floor, and the stack stone behind the mirrors are kind of our dark element, and then the Windrush just kind of sits in between as this like beautiful middle gray that complements it all. Um, and then you get a peekaboo there of the lake, I mean of the pool area, the entertaining area, the outdoor bar, the upper porch. It's definitely a house that is meant for entertaining and having people there and spending holidays. And so, we tried to think through all the spaces and make sure that they were uber functional and
I have
beautiful.
it is so beautiful. And one quick question I know people it's on people's minds is gray. Windrush is a great design, but you paired it with so many other things. So is gray out or gray is in, but mixed and matched with other things?
Yeah, and I let the other panelists weigh in on that, but I think what's out is gray on gray on gray, or gray and white, and this kind of monochromatic, cold space. To me, gray is still gorgeous, and a a cool gray goes beautiful with blues and those tones. A warm gray goes great with these oak tones, and so gray can be a middle choice that you use when you don't like. I didn't want a black countertop. I have enough of the deep going on there, and I don't want a white countertop in there because I feel like it would look like a racing stripe across
Mm-hmm.
where the faucets are. I needed something warm to kind of hold down that middle element.
My aunt recently called me almost in a panic, and she was like, I heard gray is out. What am I gonna do? I was like, it's okay, calm down. Right. It's not out. What Brad's saying is spot on for us as well. We want to add warmth to it. And I think one of the things that we do that with is in the countertops a lot of the time is having both a warm and a cool vein. Okay. So we have a gray vein and a taupe vein. it's a cheat sheet. Honestly, it's a cheat code for making sure that it's going to look good with anything. Because if like, when we're laying out materials, we put them on the table. If we were to pile, a gray tile on top of this windrush, it would automatically get more gray. If we were to pile it on top of a white one with like a warm vein, it would be automatically more warm. So it depends a lot about what you put in with it. I do agree it's a mix. Don't freak out that gray is not, it's not gone. It just has its place.
Yeah.
I think even like this stack stone backsplash that you have here, Brad, I love the way that you did that tall backsplash, but you have this like deeper, richer charcoal going on, plus the
Yeah.
white walls, plus that gorgeous white oak. I believe it's white oak
Yeah.
that it just ties it all together. I think this entire house has like this magic warmth to it that makes you want to cozy up and read a book and stare at the lake. So I applaud you for all of it.
Thank you.
It's perfect. And let's keep moving because now we're going to go into Lauren's
Wow.
project, which is she's sitting in right now with her wallpaper, and it is the cover of the current Cambria Style. Bravo, Lauren, which is amazing. And what I love about this, so anyone who overlooks the opportunity to create wow moments in spaces that play important roles in the connecting rooms, the guiding movement. So we're going to take a closer look here at Lauren's front hall in this year's Lake Forest Show House, which is located just out of Chicago. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that Cambria Style has never featured a hallway or an entry space on the cover of our magazine, but that's how wow this space is. So if you haven't seen Cambria Style, it can be located on cambriausa.com/style. Make sure that you read this whole article and everyone else's. But let's talk a little bit more about this space. You used the Cambria Inverness Blakely in such a special way with this hand embroidered wallpaper and everything else, the runner up the stairs, the Cambria furniture. There's so much to look at, but it feels like nothing is competing with each other. So take us through your journey. It's a show house. So, this was you showing off your creativity, but also using so many cool products.
Yes, thank you. I'm so excited. And also, honestly, the cover, it's our first cover. And I mean, we did a bunch of happy dances over here. So thank you. It's a very striking photo and the colors are perfect. And I'm like, yes, this is great. Okay, so wow moments. We had the luxury of at the Lake Forest Show House, which is in Lake Forest, Illinois. We have this luxury of when you walk into the home, you walk into this beautiful historic foyer. Then in the distance, you see a great room, and the staircase is this reveal. So as you meander into the house, it really is this wow moment. And we wanted to go with these bright colors. We wanted to honor the historic architectural detail. If you can believe it or not, this was a white box when we started. This was a, plaster walls, boring wood floor, flat ceiling, and where those gorgeous arches are, those were closets. Those were sad closets. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Like coat closets. Okay. Just a flat door and moving on with our lives. One was huge and one was small. And when we walked in, we said, we need some architectural balance in here. We need to have these little moments of celebration. I mean, this is a hall. You are meandering through it. So we wanted to create this arched grounding area with this cute little, I call it the little cloud sofa floating in that area. But in the original design, we were like, are they arched? Are they rectangular? You can almost see in this sketch at the bottom left, you can see me toying with it. I'm like, okay, they could be a rectangle or they could be an arch. And there's a lot of graceful curves in this land. There are gardens everywhere. It's like a meandering driveway you come down. So we chose to do something difficult, quite honestly. In a show house, you can do something fun that's unusual. And so when we called Cambria and we pitched them these wild ideas, we were like, what can we do here? So thanks for your partnership in this. And this like bright white Inverness Blakely, it's a perfect white color. This corridor is a little bit of a darker space, even though there's a lot of bright colors in there. It's a little bit of a darker space. So these white arches really pop and glow. Speaking of, the warm and cool, we a thought that these arches would be here forever. So we wanted to make sure that we spent a lot of time thinking about how the veining is laid. We did that with our fabricator, and we went through a lot of details and a lot of drawings about how you would see all of the veining. And then this very difficult conversation came up on a Zoom call. This is between our fabricator, Cambria, designers, our contractor, and we are talking through how the heck are we going to build this? Okay, so this was a huge team effort. And how do you take something that is a rectilinear slab and make it this organic curving shape? And one of the things that's sort of at the top of the arch, that this was honestly a big group collaboration and a conversation around how are we going to do this. We decided to take the slab and make it into these reeded pencil edge pieces that go back and arc around that curve. But then we wanted a really clean edge on the front, and so we built out this false 2-inch wide, 2.5-inch wide sort of shroud around it and in the face of it. And it creates a nice little surprise detail. It means that, I mean, look at that far right image, that veining continues vertical up and then into that reeded area. It's a really special detail. And then we spent all the hours in the world on coordinating how to illuminate that space to really celebrate it, so that when you walk in, you do get this like sort of glowing halo effect. And celebrating that. So this is the brightest element in the room, literally through Inverness Blakely, but also through the lighting that we added. I think it's probably really important to say that the scale of Inverness Blakely and also color palette is something that we wanted, but we did it in a polished finish. But you guys have this incredible, is it debossing? Is that the word you're using for this vein?
Yes, the Inverness debossed.
Yeah, so it's the vein actually goes into the stone slab, and it is a matte finish. So it's this really fabulous play on high gloss, this matte vein through it. And I really wanted everybody to touch it every time they walked through there. I wanted them to that and the wallpaper. And so our whole concept for this space was, hold on, I wrote it down in front of me. Okay. Ethereal garden pathway. I didn't want to get it wrong. Okay, so this ethereal garden pathway. And so we went in, we added all this historic architecture to match the house, but this wallpaper, okay, you guys, this wallpaper
off the charts.
was an incredible experience, not only because it looks incredible, but I was walking along the streets of Paris. I ran into someone. We were complimenting each other's fashion. She said, "Have you ever met this woman, Laura, who owns Lala Curio?" I said, "No." I somehow got swept up into her apartment. She was doing a show on all of her incredible wallpapers, but this is a silk wallpaper that's been printed with the pattern, but then hand embroidered over top the silk wallpaper. So there are pearls in this. There's beading. There's little teeny tiny gold leaves, like the shape of a leaf, that are couched on top of this. It's really special. They do this in the area in India where they do couture beading on clothing. Okay, so you walk in, it's sparkling. So we've got this bright white arch. You've got this sparkling embroidery all over, and these are my sort of big wow favorite moments in here. The art in here is by Steph Ross. This is she calls it light bright, which just kind of makes me giggle. And we knew that these are acrylic links that we went to her home studio, and we were able to really curate a color palette and do something interesting. She has every color under the rainbow. I mean, thousands of different links that we were looking through, and we created our own color palette in here to emphasize everything else. But then with that backlight channel incorporated into the quartz surround, it makes that art glow. The image on the left, the lights are off. The image on the right, the lights are on, and it's almost this like moth to a flame effect. It's pretty cool.
It's amazing. I know we have a video that shows you going through everything you just talked about in the very difficult Cambria fabrication and your sketches. I mean, this is what Cambria lives for, doing things we've never done before, including this console, furniture pieces made exclusively of Cambria. It's so gorgeous. And then with the greens and the blues and, and then the natural on the flooring. I mean, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And I would love to just keep us moving because I don't want to miss out on talking about the garden room, which is the bar. It is so special. And this is one of our last rooms that we're going to be looking at. So Susan, I would love for you to also comment. It feels like this is right up your alley. You said you're leaning into the Moody. I mean, this is under the staircase. So behind those stairs is this beautiful little jewel box that is featuring Cambria's Remington brass. So here we have the brass. if a tornado is coming, this is where I'm going to enjoy. Tell us about it, Lauren.
Sure. So this was a really special space. Funny enough, the show house called us almost last minute and said, hey, do you want to do this space under the stairs? We were like, yeah, add it in. This is exciting. So what we did was build this sort of meandering, as you're meandering down that hall, you meander around a corner, and we wanted that curve in the front of this countertop and cabinetry. It is a pretty dramatic curve. We wanted that to be a really special piece that this is a tight space, right? We needed it to have the balance of this countertop space for function and display, but also for all of this bourbon collection over here to the right. And so we worked really hard with our fabricator on that front edge. We doubled up a thin slab of this for that cool kind of double fluted look in the front. But we really wanted to use the exact material for the backsplash, and then also creating this top shelf. This is something that I did in my own home that just revolutionized my life, quite honestly. It's like you just doubled the amount of space. So in my basement bar, we did a similar detail, but then we really took it to the next level by having that support piece of that backsplash on the left. So it's really this like integral piece. And what you can't see from the photo is the way that the light catches on top of it catches the brass, excuse me, in it. So it's this like deep chocolatey color that's this like great mix between chocolate and gray. And the glowing bourbon picks up the veining that's happening over there in that beautiful alloy. What else? What else do you want to know?
Yeah, it is just gorgeous. I love it. One of the just the things that you did that I love is how you implemented the fluting on the Cambria in those closets in the front. I don't know what you can't call them closets now, but you're calling them insets or whatever. And how you are continuing that feeling with the fluting on the wood in the bar. And it just makes it really cohesive, especially for a historic area. I think this is something really to point out too for designers. A lot of times they think that the fluting is just trending in a more modern feeling, and you just killed it with your design process of bringing it in a historic feeling on a home. And I know that that's something that's very inspiring to me and gives me affirmation to say we don't need to be restricted because of what other people's applications are, and that you really got out of that box and put the fluting in the historic part. Not to mention the dark and moody. I mean, who does not love that? And your lighting and attention to detail just made this space we're not there, so I'm sure it is small, but the way the photography captured that is it's really illuminating it to be or feel very inviting and appear larger probably than it is.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is my husband's bourbon collection over here to the right.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
all right.
It's nice.
I was
Tell
like,
him to give me a call.
I know. I was like, we're gonna need to borrow all of this, and he was like, for how long? It's like a month.
And love how that's the part that was lit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many wonderful things I have to say from the foyer all the way back through here. To me, the things that strike me are the things that a lot of people don't pay attention to, and it is the constant juxtaposition between soft lines and architectural lines that make it so successful. What did you say that you called the name of your entry? Something about a garden?
We called it Ethereal Garden Pathway.
Okay.
And so I was really inspired by a trip to France where I'm just like meandering through these French gardens, and I was like, I just want to live life every day. I just want to like
I see that
slow down and like enjoy the meander through the home.
One of my favorite things about a garden experience is that they're usually segmented in a very architectural way into different garden sections, sometimes boxwoods that give you the X pattern, and then the florals are in between that, and all of that is represented in your foyer with the geometric shape in the floor that's then reflected in the ceiling, and it's just this lovely nod. And then I think the fluting detail in the arches, and all of that then is balanced by the organic leaves that are coming into the space that basically allow the space to then soften itself. And so I just love the interplay of architecture, architectural lines, and then the organic and the playful colors and all of that. And honestly, the way that you were able to dream up those arches with the Cambria product, like my mind is like, what can I do?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely. I feel the same
Do I
way.
have a client that will pay for that?
Yeah.
Because
Yes, you do.
that took a lot of intentionality, and so kudos to you for that. It really allows the Cambria product to be the showstopper in that space.
Thanks. I have just one thing to say. I'm impressed that you noticed all of those details, number one, Brad. But for me, I'm not a traditional designer. Okay. So here we are in this traditional show home. I'm like, how the heck? I'm like, we got to make this a little edgier. We need to
Yeah.
make this like, what are that piece of furniture that we made? Okay. With the black brook material is like, I need black. Where else can I have black? Like, where else can I do this? I need these edgy pieces. And what I loved about that console is that this material and the veining really led to the design of exactly what that was with those two different high contrast pieces interplaying in there. But I needed the crispness and the sleekness of
Mhm.
those slabs to balance out all that traditional architecture. Because
Yeah.
if we would have made those out of wood, it would have been like still cool, right? But cool. It just there would have been like that surprise moment and
Yeah.
that wow moment that to me is like making the whole thing just chef's kiss.
Yeah,
Chef's
and
kiss for sure.
it's awesome that we have the 1CM, as we, talked about that earlier, using it on walls. Now you can use it to make custom furniture, and it doesn't weigh 10,000 pounds.
Mm.
But just to be able to flex it in a different way, I think that's so beautiful. And like you said, like that modern moment against that floral wallpaper, and even against the traditional handrail that is right across from it, is just such a good push and pull in there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I love that we could keep talking about this show house. And if you guys could have only seen the whole thing, it was amazing. But I need to keep us moving on. And it's so fun to talk about wow moments. One last thing before we wrap up, I just wanted to share this brand new tool on CambriaUSA.com. It's called the Room Visualizer. And you guys on the panel may also want to use this with your clients because you can upload a picture of any space and swap out any Cambria design.
Oh,
The
wow.
CGI looks amazing. I will tell you. We will drop the link here in the Q&A for everyone to check it out. And then we also have a bunch of just really beautiful Cambria kitchens, bathrooms, fireplaces that you can play with cabinetry colors, wall paints, and the Cambria designs. So this is a pretty powerful tool. Well, with AI and all the things advancing, this thing is probably going to continue to get better and better as we all, expect in our industry and our life. So just wanted to make sure I put that out there for everyone, but we can move on to the end here. I just want to say this has been so terrific. You three are a wow. I love everything you said. You've really added so much great trend tips, pro tips, and just the inspiration and where you're thinking. I think people will take away some really good ideas for their own home. And I know we have designers here as well. So I just wanted to end and say that you can discover even more design inspiration and expert interior design advice in Cambria Style magazine. And we also have a blog, which is at CambriaUSA.com/style. And if you don't already, please follow Cambria Surfaces, Susan, Brad, and Lauren, because as you can see, there is a lot here and there's so much more to discover on their socials. Be sure to watch your email inbox for a link to this recording so you can rewatch it, capture all those amazing nuggets, and share this great conversation with your friends. I just want to say thank you guys. Truly, you're inspiring. I can't wait to go and visit you all. Lauren, I'm going to see you next week. And goodbye, and we'll see everyone next time. Ciao.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Thank you,
you.
Summer.